Hey, so thinking about moving to Rocklin or Roseville?
Well, you're in the right place. Hey, it's Renee and Mike with the Friedrich team at eXp Realty and the YouTube channel.
Living in Sacramento. We can say together. That's fine.
Yeah. So today we are talking about Roseville versus Rocklin, like Mike said, and it's something that gets asked quite often for our clients that are moving from out of the area, right?
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, before we forget, if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button here below or the alert button too, right?
Yes. So you're the first to know about everything moving, living, working, playing in Sacramento and all the great surrounding areas like Roseville and Rocklin in Placer County.
Cool. So with that, let's just dive in, right? And talk
it.
about the pros and cons between Roseville and Rocklin.
Yes. All right. So one that comes up, I think, pretty often is cost of electricity.
Yeah, that comes up quite a bit with all the communities we have here, right? Because there's overall there's three bigger municipalities, right, between Roseville Electric in this case.
Yes, or PG&E. And so our clients that live in Roseville are definitely super excited to be part of Roseville Electric. It is a city municipality, like Mike said, versus Pacific Gas and Electric, which is, a privately owned utility, and you pay more for that. So there's definitely, I would say, a big pro for Roseville in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to say about that other than it's cheaper if you have Roseville Electric.
Definitely. And moving on, the communities, I was really surprised by this number, actually. I thought that Rocklin was a little bit larger. But Rocklin's about half the size of Roseville.
Yeah, so Roseville has about 144,000, right? Right now.
And Rocklin is just over 70,000, so literally about half the size. And I mean, the great thing as we're going through this list, you guys, is both communities are literally intertwined with each other and neighboring. So even if you opt for that smaller community of Rocklin, if you like that small town feel, you still have all the amenities of Roseville literally in your backyard.
Right. And the fun part is actually it's almost like LA, although it's not anywhere close to being
it's
that
nothing
big.
like LA.
No, it is, because she doesn't even know what I want to say. You're driving and sometimes you can't tell if you're in Roseville or in Rocklin.
That is true.
See?
Yes.
Hey. Let's make sure that we note that I was right for once.
You can be every once in a while.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So literally, I mean, they really do run into each other, like Mike said, and it is sometimes hard to tell the difference between Roseville and Rocklin. There's a few key factors, which we'll get to as we're going through our list, for sure.
So I think the other pros or the cons or that you have to weigh in is Roseville has a little bit more shopping, which makes sense because it has more higher population.
Right, there's more people, so it's the demand for the shopping is definitely going to be there. And there's the Galleria Mall, there's the fountains, there's the super cute Old Town district, which has a really thriving business community down in Old Roseville as well. And then Rocklin, it's just a little bit more spread out with regards to the shopping. So you've got lots of shopping centers and lots of great amenities like the Rocklin Commons, where Bass Pro Shop is. Did you all know that Bass Pro Shop just turned 50 this year?
Yeah, but that was, I think, in February.
I think it was in February, yeah.
So depending on when you see that, this is the year 2022, right?
Yes. Yeah. So they've started in 1972.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, they're 1 year younger than me.
Yeah.
Now you all know how old I am. So anyway, there is some great shopping. It's just not as concentrated, like having a mall where everything's in one place. It's not quite like that.
But again, I mean, it's just around the corner, right? Because it is so close.
Yes, definitely.
But then I think the con definitely with Roseville being bigger is you can be driving quite a bit from one end to the other. Right?
It feels like forever, especially if you're, on that close border of Roseville and Rocklin, and then you're trying to get to West Roseville, that feels like it goes on and on and on. And depending on traffic and what time of day, it could take you, easily 30 to 35 minutes to get across town.
Yeah. And then actually when you're at the far end of the West Roseville, where the development is happening right now, so most of the development is pretty much happening towards the left or west or whatever.
West, yeah.
Towards the Sacramento airport, in fact. So you could potentially be a little bit closer to Sacramento airport than you would be Rocklin in some places, right?
Oh, definitely. If you have to commute to the airport and fly in and out a lot, I think that Roseville would definitely have
West Roseville
specifically would have some definite pro check marks for you. So
that's right.
And we were going to talk about with shopping the restaurants.
Yeah, there's definitely some favorites there, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about the Roseville favorites we have.
Okay, so
in the fountains.
In the fountains. I mean, I love Zocalo.
Yeah.
He's not as big of a Zocalo fan.
No. It's okay.
And I think that they've got great cocktails, great happy hour. There we go again.
Well, it's, in my opinion, it's fancy Mexican, and I like hole-in-the-wall Mexican.
That's true.
Right?
Yeah, and I like fancy.
Yeah, there you go.
And there's also a Mikunis in the fountains.
Which we talked about. There's quite a few Mikunis in the greater Sacramento area.
That's true.
There's the one in Folsom, right? There's the original one. I think it's the original one on Hazel in Orangevale.
Yeah.
And then there's one downtown too in Sacramento.
Yeah. Right. Yes. And then there's also like the big chains, of course. So you've got the BJ's of the world and the Yard Houses and PF Chang's and oh my gosh, you name it.
Dave and Buster's.
Dave and Buster's is there. That's true. So you've got some good, just going out with your friends or on a date night. And then there's also some good family fun mixed in there with the restaurants as well. In Roseville specifically.
Right. And then if you're going over on the other side to Rocklin, there's one of our favorites.
Definitely.
Right?
Definitely.
Maybe my favorite.
Yeah, for sure one of your favorites because there's beer and German food.
There you go. It's called Catherine's Beer Garden.
Yeah.
And it's great. It makes me feel home sometimes.
Well, yeah, and he doesn't always have to make all the schnitzel in. We can go to Catherine's and have a very authentic German meal and really great beer.
And Wiener Schnitzel has nothing to do with schnitzel, just so you know.
Yeah.
It's not a sausage.
If you're curious about a really good schnitzel and what that really looks like, text Mike.
Yeah, text me. I mean, a lot of people that are thinking about moving to the Sacramento area, right? They're reaching out to us via DMs and emails, text, and you name it. Right?
All the ways.
Just do that. And then we don't have to talk about real estate or housing market. We can just talk about
what we love about Sacramento.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There you go.
So there's another, I forgot to put it on the list, but another Rocklin favorite is Lucille's Barbecue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's a chain or not. I just know that it's really, really good Southern style barbecue. So that's another fun one in Rocklin.
You didn't put it on the list, but I mean, if you had Catherine's Beer Garden, you can go over to Porsche.
Oh gosh,
Tesla.
Yeah, there's a little car row there. There's Mercedes, Porsche, Audi, I think.
All the expensive cars are up there.
And literally right down the street from Catherine's Beer Garden. Yeah. So maybe go to the car shops first and then go get your beer.
Yeah.
And
then get the driver.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so anyway, lots of food and drink and shopping in Roseville and Rocklin, and there's a little bit more in Roseville. So again, depending on whether you think that's a pro or a con, we'll chalk one up to either side.
Right. And then I'm just looking at our notes here. So, I mean, like we already talked about the fact that they're super close to each other, right?
Yes.
And so depending on what you like more, if you like the small town flair versus the big city life, you can actually have both.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and both have a little old town area too. I know we already talked about that for the Roseville and the downtown merchants. And Rocklin has that as well. And they also, just in the last several years, they revamped or redeveloped an old rock quarry, and it's called Quarry Park.
Quarry Park, which I think on the map too, I didn't pronounce it right.
That's possible. I'm pretty sure.
Quarry or Quarry, I don't know what I said.
We also walked around there on the Rocklin walking tour. So, they'll probably pop that video right up here so you guys can check that out as well. It's really cool though. They've got a great outdoor adventure park with rock climbing. I mean, obviously you're in harnesses and stuff, safety first. There's zip lining and all sorts of other stuff there. And then they also have a really great amphitheater.
And the funny thing is I've never been.
What?
No, you have been.
I have been, like multiple times. So we're not always together.
Right. Shocker.
Yeah. So they've got live music there in the summertime. Yeah. They also do live music in the fountains too, though, in Roseville. And actually, so it's November of 2022 right now, you guys. And so we're coming up on Christmas. I'm not sure when this will get dropped, but they're doing a nutcracker thing outside at the fountains during Christmas time.
I'm sure if it's not in time for this Christmas season,
it'll be in time for next Christmas.
It'll be in time for next Christmas season.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about schools too.
Oh my gosh, both are great.
Yeah. No, definitely. I mean, A-rated schools in both cities.
Yes.
If you're into the football, then you have to make a choice.
Well, athletics in general. We checked for athletics in Placer County to see where the schools stack up, and Rocklin is slightly higher.
Yeah. That's Whitney High School.
Whitney High School. And we compared it with Wood Creek. So Whitney came in at number 3 in Placer County for athletics, and Wood Creek at number 4.
Mm-hmm.
And
then there's Loomis, which is the number 1, which is literally also just around the corner.
Yes, it's all so close, you guys.
Yeah.
So we'll cover Loomis, and then number 2 is Granite Bay, and we will definitely go into those communities on some other videos, so you guys can check those out as well, because they're highly desirable communities also, and also often get debated. Where should we go? Between 4 or 5 different cities in Placer County, and those are the top 4 for sure. And there's one more, Lincoln, which I'm going to be talking about here in the very near future. I'll be out there exploring there. So, yeah.
Well, and then both are actually cities and incorporated, right? So you have all the benefits of fire, parks and rec, and
your own police department.
There you go. Yeah.
And both communities have like tons of trails and hiking, biking, all of that. Close proximity to Folsom Lake, not as close as some of the other communities that we've talked about before, like Folsom, Granite Bay, El Dorado Hills, and yet it's still just a really quick car or bike ride away. So.
And then if you want to be close to the mall, and we kind of touched on the mall already, but if there's Whole Foods, there's one of our local fantastic grocery stores, the Nugget Market, right?
Yes.
That's all in Roseville, right?
Right. And again, like just over the border in some cases from Rocklin. So you still have access. And there's plenty of grocery shopping and things in Rocklin too, of course. There's just way more in Roseville. So there's multiple Nugget Markets. I just wouldn't have ever imagined that the community could support that many Nugget Markets. But it's a great local grocery store. And that was also on my West Roseville walking tour. I hung out for a little bit in front of the Nugget there because I just love that grocery store so much.
I know. We could talk about grocery stores. Although I do all the shopping and I do all the cooking, so it's very rare that Renee goes into a grocery store.
Yeah.
But when she does, she likes that one.
I do.
All right.
They have good cheese and snacks.
Yeah, I know. And the presentation is out of this world.
Yeah, it's very similar to a Whole Foods, just not quite as spendy. So if you don't want to go to whole paycheck foods, Nugget is a great alternative.
But are we going to get a cease and desist on that one?
Yeah.
But maybe. Hey, it's fact. So,
I mean, people call it that all the time.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about a little bit about cost of living and real estate.
Yeah. I mean, we do sell real estate, you guys. That's why we're here.
Yeah.
And I'll just say, whether you're looking to move in a week, a month, or a year, definitely reach out to us because we love getting the questions from people just like you, and we get calls and texts all the time. So
yeah, we love answering those, right?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So the median home prices are quite different too. I mean, not as much. But...
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they're pretty close. So in Roseville, which again is a little bit larger, so it kind of makes sense. You've got in the last 30 days, the median home price for sold homes was $600,000. And then in Rocklin.
In Rocklin was $660, right? So,
So
I mean, 10% more.
Yeah, you get a little bit more home for your dollar in Roseville. And then the taxes and homeowners association, of course, are going to vary from neighborhood to neighborhood. The newer the neighborhood, typically the more the taxes are going to be, and the older, the less expensive. So just reach out to us if you have questions about specific communities, and we can give you all the details.
Yeah, and this is November 2022, right?
Yes.
We're talking about.
Yeah.
So things might change a little bit.
Yeah, we've definitely seen prices coming down recently in the Sacramento region overall.
But then, I mean, there's the other neighborhood, Granite Bay, and I don't know if you know, but the median home price there is $1 million, believe it or not.
I just looked at the stats that we got, and it was like $1,058,000 actually. So
there you go.
quite a bit of difference for literally just driving a little bit further. Like that would be south of Roseville and Rocklin.
Yeah.
But very close to Folsom Lake. So, proximity to water, it always makes a huge difference, I think, in home values.
Topography.
Yes.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Well, Roseville is still a little bit closer to Sacramento Valley, which, like we talked about in our Folsom versus El Dorado Hills video.
We need to bring out the
glip boxing gloves again. Anyway. So Roseville is a little bit more flat, and Rocklin starts to get closer into the foothills, so you do have a little bit more elevation,
right?
And which I think makes it more interesting from a topography. And some people, especially if you're like a road biker or something, you might love the flat. So just depends on what you like. I prefer to have a little bit of hills, which is probably why we live in the foothills.
That's right. And then with that comes also, since we're out with the recreation and things like that, Northern California is very well known for the golf up here.
Yes.
And I don't think you can go wrong in either community with the golf courses.
No, I think that, like we've talked about, Roseville has more because there's more people. So there are definitely more golf courses in Roseville than in Rocklin. And super fun. I don't know if you guys have ever done it. We have a Topgolf that is literally right on the border of Roseville and Rocklin. And the address is still Roseville. So Roseville gets a little check for the Topgolf, I think. So.
And we haven't even talked about the casinos. Are there any casinos? No, that's in Lincoln. Huh?
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, also super close.
Yeah.
I think there might be some card shops though. Some.
They're controversial right now, right? So.
Yeah. So anyway, we'll leave that up.
Exactly.
But
I think that kind of sums it up. Roseville, Rocklin. Again, I don't think you can go wrong with either community. It comes down to what preference you have as far as how you want to have the feel, right? How close you want to be to shopping versus having a little bit more serenity and maybe a little bit less traffic, things like that.
Yeah, and then we didn't even talk about it, but proximity to downtown might be important to you. Right. So Roseville's going to be a little bit closer than Rocklin, and maybe being further away from downtown is what you're looking for, and so Rocklin would be the choice then. So like Mike said, I don't think you can go wrong with either community. They both have so many pros and cons, but mostly pros.
Yeah, I know. But then, if you do want to be close to the airport, you have to be in West Roseville.
If that's important, for sure. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of people that commute, right?
Yeah.
With the state capital being so close, there may still be some people that live in Roseville but work downtown, but have to commute via plane.
Yeah.
Right? So, again, you can't go wrong.
And again, if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. We would love to help you debate which community is best for you, whether it be Roseville, Rocklin, Granite Bay, Loomis, you name it. Those are some of our favorites in Placer County or anywhere in the Sacramento region. We are here to help.
All right. With that, thank you so much for tuning in, and see you in the next one.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe and hit that alert bell.
Yep.
Bye-bye.